Una,
dos,
dos y tres.
tres.
Una, dos y tres. Una, dos y tres. Una, dos y tres.
The game is Donkey. Number of participants at least 3. Age 5 years on and on. Space in the classroom. Time for 20 to 30 minutes. Materials in the original game, some cards from a deck. In the learning version, we can create our own cards. The aims are collect 4 cards with something in common, think the cards you pass and which you search, develop essential skills such as concentration and memory, learn different categories, develop strategic capacity, apply formative assessment, interact with others, and learn new things by playing. The teaching subjects are from primary school subjects like mother tongue, social and science studies, math, to middle school like mother tongue, second languages, history, geography, science, math, type of lesson. This game can be used as a learning activity, since students must be thinking of the category they are collecting and also they must recognize the categories they don't need. Rules and development of the game. We select some cards from a deck. We select all the cards with the same number and we select as many numbers as players there are. For example, if there are 4 players, we select from the deck the 4 cards with number 1, the 4 cards with number 2, the 4 cards with number 3, and the 4 ones with number 4. The cards are shuffled and then we deal 4 cards to each player. The aim of the game is to collect 4 cards with the same number. It is very difficult to get 4 cards with the same number when we deal them, and the more players in the game, the more difficult it will be. So, when all players have their 4 cards, they decide which number of cards they are going to collect. The decision is usually taken according to the cards they have, and logically they will try to collect those numbers they have repeated. For example, if a player gets 2 number 1, 1 number 2, and 1 number 4, he or she will surely try to collect numbers 1. Then all players select 1 card and on the count of 3 they pass it away to the player on his/her right and take the card the player on his/her left is passing away. This process is repeated until one of the players has collected all the cards with the same number. When a player gets the 4 cards with the same number, he or she shouts donkey and puts one hand on the center of the table. The rest of players must do the same, putting their hands on the other player's hand. The last player doing so is the loser, so the winner gets 1 point and the loser loses 1 point. If 2 or more players get the 4 cards with the same number at the same time, the winner will be the first saying donkey, and obviously his/her palm will be touching the table and not another player's hand. The adapted version, for example in language, if there are 5 players, we must create 5 categories. For example, we can create nouns, verbs, adjectives, pronouns, and adverbs. We create them 4 words for every category. Nouns: cat, ball, pencil, window. Verbs: sing, run, talk, eat. Adjectives: happy, long, big, funny. Pronouns: they, she, we, you. Adverbs: well, quickly, often, now. We shuffle the 20 cards and deal 4 for every student. They have a look and select 1 to pass it. They say 1, 2, 3 and pass it to the right and taking the one coming from the left. The first student getting 4 cards of the same category will say donkey and put a hand in the middle of the table, getting 1 point. The last student putting a hand will lose 1 point. We can create many cards for every category, and after 2 or 3 games we can change the cards so they will be constantly learning new words and relating them to their categories. Possible application in education. Subject, learning field. This game can be used in many subjects relating categories. In a geography lesson, we can use geographical features, rivers, countries, mountains, lakes, seas. In a science lesson, we can use different kinds of animals, mammals, fish, reptiles, insects. In a chemistry lesson, we can use different kinds of elements from the periodic table, actinoids, noble gases, lanthanoids, pure metals. In a music lesson, we can use different kinds of instruments, string, percussion, woodwind, brass. In an English lesson, we can create vocabulary topics, family, body, classroom objects, actions, parts of a house. But we can also play in a different way if players must create logical sentences. For example, we make 4 cards with a subject, 4 cards with a verb, 4 cards with a direct object, 4 with a place complement, and 4 with a time complement. Example: subjects: I, you, we, they. Verbs: like, eat, throw, give. Direct objects: chocolate, rice, bread, pasta. Place complements: in the garden, at school, in the street, at home. Time complements: in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, every day. In fact, changing the categories, this game can be used in almost every subject.
Let's now see an example of the original traditional game. These are the cards to play a game with 4 players. We shuffle and hand out 4 cards to each player. After handing out, this has been the cards for the players. Let's imagine we are player 1. We have 2 cards with number 1, so we will try to collect them all. Every player must pass 1 card to the player in the right. We pass 1 and receive 1. We have received another 1, so we must pass out our number 2. Again, every player must pass 1 card to the player in the right. We pass 1 and receive 1. We have collected the 4 cards with number 1, so we must say "Donkey" and put our hands on the table. The other players must put their hands on ours, and the last one will lose this game. This time, player 2 loses. Player 1 wins 1 point, and player 2 loses 1 point. Let's now see how the previous game could have been in an adapted learning version. These are the cards to play a game with 4 players. They are different grammar categories: nouns, verbs, adjectives, and determiners. We shuffle and hand out 4 cards to each. After handing out, this has been the cards for the players. Let's imagine we are player 1 again. We have 2 cards with a noun on it, so we will try to collect them all. Every player must pass 1 card to the player in the right. We pass 1 and receive 1. We have received another noun, so we must pass our determiner and play until we get the last noun. Again, every player must pass 1 card to the player in the right. We pass 1 and receive 1. We have collected the 4 cards with a noun, so we must say "Donkey" and put our hands on the table. The other players must put their hands on ours, and the last one will lose this game. This time player 2 loses, player 1 wins 1 point and player 2 loses 1 point.
Bueno, vamos a jugar hoy a burro. ¿Todos conocemos cómo se juega a burro?
Sí.
¿Sí? ¿Recordáis ese juego de cartas de la baraja española en el que cada uno tiene que juntar 4 cartas iguales? ¿Vale? Pero lo vamos a cambiar y en lugar de hacerlo con la baraja española lo vamos a hacer con otras cartas que son especiales y que he hecho para la clase de hoy, ¿vale? Que son adverbios. ¿Recordamos todo lo que es un adverbio? Lo hemos estado dando estos días, ¿sí, no? Bueno, pues tenemos y sabemos que hay muchos tipos de adverbios. Aquí hemos seleccionado, porque somos 4 jugadores, 4 tipos de adverbios. Por un lado tenemos adverbios ¿de qué son estos adverbios?
De lugar.
De lugar, estos de aquí, de tiempo, estos de cantidad y estos de negación, pero podríamos tener otros, ¿vale? Entonces lo que vamos a hacer es que vamos a repartir todas las cartas, las vamos a barajar bien, las vamos a repartir y el objetivo del juego será que consigamos 4 cartas iguales, ¿vale? Es decir, 4 adverbios de la misma clase. ¿Sí? ¿Lo hemos entendido todo?
Sí.
Pues venga, aquí me empiezo a barajar. Entonces siéntate más para acá para que estemos aquí los 4, uno enfrente de otro. Ya sabéis, cuando consigamos 4 cartas iguales, es decir, 4 adverbios de la misma clase, ponemos la mano, burro. 2, 3. Espera. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Me mandan una tarea.
1, 2, 3.
Ey, ¿a qué?
Uy, espera. Venga, Nuria, rápido. 3. 1, 2, 3. Uy, muy bien, Tony.
No, pero yo no iría jamás, ¿no? Una,
Dos,
dos y tres.
tres.
Una, dos,
Dos y tres.
una, dos,
Y tres.
una,
Una.
dos, tres.
¡Burro!
Bien, Tony, muy bien. ¿Qué adverbio has conseguido?
Negación.
Muy
Pues yo
bien,
creo
4
que
adverbios de
también.
negación. Perfecto.
Aquí.
Una, dos y tres.
Una.
Dos y tres.
Una. Dos y tres. Burro.